All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday. Almost made it to Friday. We have got a road ahead post, and I want to hear from all of you guys on what you think about the road ahead. Something we have been doing now for several weeks is bringing on all of you guys to come in, talk with me, and share your opinions on what's going on in Galaxy of Heroes. And so we got some call-ins today. We're going to kind of wing this. We got like 7 people sitting in the waiting room right now that I'm going to bring in to share their thoughts, opinions, frustrations, and whatever dealing with all things road ahead here. So our first caller today is Goody. We're going to bring Goody in right now. Hey, Goody, what's going on, my man? Tell us where you're calling from and what do you think about the road ahead?
I am calling from Arkansas. Road ahead's good,
Right on.
I'm excited about it. So even though I won't see the Inquisitors for months on end, I'm excited for those who can.
Yeah, are you more free to play?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
All the time. 100% free to play. Yeah, so it's real tough for me to get involved with this new stuff rolling out. Only thing I really benefit from is, I guess, the gear upgrades and maybe the scavenger a little bit, but I do like seeing the content. I just won't be able to use it for a year, 2 years, maybe.
It sounds like you're almost a little disappointed, or are you not? You're just genuinely fine with it. It's just what you're used to.
I've come to accept it as a free-to-play player.
Okay.
Being where I'm at in GAC, unless it's like Mara Jade or whoever else would be viable at 3 or 5 stars, it's just not usable.
Right.
So I can unlock them, sure. I can have them in my roster, but until they become farmable, I have no use for them.
All right. Sounds good, Goody. Well, Goody. Good, Goody. Thanks for dropping in, man, and take care of Arkansas for us.
Hey, I got you, man. I'll hold it down.
All right.
Thanks,
all right, Goody, ladies and gentlemen. Our next caller today is Jobin. Jobin, I am not sure if I'm comfortable bringing you on my channel or not. This is a very nervous experience for me.
You better be ready.
I've actually met Jobin in real life. Great guy. Big guy. You're like a tall teddy bear.
5'11" 3/4. I've been counting.
You're not Are you only 5'11"?
Yep, 5'11" 3/4. I need 1/4 of an inch to finally reach 6 feet.
Okay, well, keep working on that. So, Jobin, you're in Arizona, right?
Yep, just above you.
All right. What do you think about the road ahead?
I think it's great. I'm loving it. Especially the GAC changes. Obviously, that's the big overarching thing that's really exciting to come.
Yeah.
The Grand Inquisitor, I'm super excited for, and the fact that he's finally what looks to be a 5-star unlock, considering he's labeled as a legendary character.
It would be 5-star. I don't think they've ever had a character labeled as a legendary event that wasn't a 5-star unlock, so it should be a 5-star.
Exactly, and the fact that all these guys are going to be what do you call it, marquee events? They're all going to be 3 stars, so you only need to get 2 stars on each of the characters to unlock them. So
yeah,
that's also huge, as well as the Omicron thing. Loving that, and I've also now noticed that they're going to be showing the relic levels of your Gear 13 characters when you're selecting too. That's just a small change, but a lot of these small changes are coming together to bring lots of niceness and neatness to this game, which I'm really excited for. I'm loving it.
Awesome. So for you, pretty much it sounds like there's no real negatives about this road ahead. It's all roses. Yeah,
pretty much. Mace Windu reworks great and everything. And although one of the other things I got to say about the road aheads, I'm loving the videos. I love the videos that they're doing now with the road aheads too, because that's just watch the 7-minute video, get it all done, lots of visuals. That's another thing I'm loving about the road aheads too. So I think we're going in a good place. I'm liking it.
All right, another satisfied customer, CG. Another 3-star review. All right, Jobin, thank you so much for coming in, man. It's good to see you.
Of course, anytime, Cubs.
All right, that's Jobin, ladies and gentlemen. Our next caller is named Mendor. Mendor, say hello. How you doing? And you are on mute, so you know, Mendor. You'll need to come off mute. And he's jumping out here. Let's try it one more time. Are you there, Mendor? Okay, we're having technical issues. We're going to actually bounce to somebody nobody's ever heard of. His name is Nemesis. I've personally never heard of this guy.
Hello.
What's going... Wait, hold up. Is this a different Nem?
It is different Nem. It
Oh
is
my
the Nem
gosh.
that everyone thinks is the other Nem that you're friends with, but it's not. It's a different Nem.
Okay.
And I don't know which one came first. I'm not sure if he stole the name from me or if I stole it from him, but much respect to Nem regardless.
As soon as I heard your voice, I was like, wait, that's not Nem. Okay, so we have a new Nemesis, an imposter Nemesis, or maybe the Nem we know is the imposter and this is the OG. But anyway, tell us where you're coming from and or calling from, and what do you think about the road ahead, Nem?
Well, I'm in the U.S. East Coast.
Okay.
And I liked it. I think the information that was in it was pretty cool. GA changes are awesome. Honestly, like the ability to set your own defenses and just have it auto set for you forever is pretty nice.
So good. Yeah.
Grand Inquisitor seems like it'll be pretty fun. I'm hoping that it'll actually have use outside of just TW because I'm more of a GAC guy myself. But
yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what the other two Inquisitors are that we end up getting, and then what GI's kit actually ends up being. But aside from that, it just seemed a bit empty. Like in terms of road aheads, I feel like we have been used to a lot more, like, you know, GL announcements or like new game mode. Like they were talking about in the State of the Galaxy that we're going to get a new game mode, and they were going to be talking about it in this road ahead, and they just didn't. So it's like it seems like it's sort of a half-assed road ahead. Maybe not half-assed is the right word, but like just sort of like incomplete. Like it wasn't what it could have been.
They even, yeah, and I remember in the State of the Galaxy post, they referenced game modes in the plural that were potentially coming. And so, yeah, I'm surprised we made it to, I think you're the third or fourth caller already, and nobody had mentioned that, because that was definitely one of my takeaways is everything in the road ahead was great. I had no complaints about the content. However, it did feel a little bit like, and my speculation is maybe they're working on those things. They just weren't quite ready. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was in the Swego events server the other night, and somebody was saying that, like, you know, Doja and Crumb were talking about doing it together. Like they both had stuff they were going to announce. Like Crumb was the one talking about the new game modes, and it was only a road ahead post by Doja. So they were thinking maybe it was like half the road ahead, and we're gonna get another half later on this week or next week or something. That maybe they just wanted to get something out before it was fully finished. I'm not sure if that has any merit to it, but I guess it's something interesting at least.
It was notable, I thought, that we only saw Doja in this one, because every other post there we've had Doja and Crumb. So maybe there's something to that. Also, I mean, a big thing that was missing, I felt like, was the gear. The second part of the State of the Gear Elixir.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah. I think they were talking about they were doing something with Kairos in the second part of the gear update, and I am personally very excited for that. I could always use more Kairos.
I think everybody is. So, all right. Well, Nemesis, thanks for coming in. Well, maybe we'll call you Nemesis. You're the Nemesis of Nemesis.
Yes, that's a good idea. I like that.
Okay, I like it.
Thanks for having me, Cubs.
You bet. Thanks for coming in. All right, Mendor is still hanging out in the chat. Let's see if we try this one more time. Mendor, are you able to hear me? You there, Mendor? Is this working? No, it won't work. Okay. Mendor, if you're listening to the video, I'm sorry that technology didn't cooperate with us. All right, next caller here is somebody by the name of Plague with a very cute Baby Yoda avatar on Discord. Plague, how you doing?
Doing good. Good morning.
It's so nice to meet you. Tell us where you're calling from and what you think about the road ahead.
Houston, Texas.
All right.
And actually, I don't know how everybody else has felt. I know that there's probably mixed expectations. I'm actually enjoying it.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Tell me more.
So, a lot of people are noticing like the lack of content, but for me, I don't really chase after. Like I can't afford to. I'm still way too new to the game. So for me,
how long you been playing?
Since Christmas 2020.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty new for the lifespan of this game.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So like I just got I'm going after Executor. I can't really afford to go after anything new. So like nothing's really on my mind. So like when I look at it, I go, okay, well, we're no longer gonna have people forgetting to set a defense. I'm facing an opponent. forgot to set their defense. They're what, $1.5 million to almost $2 million more than me. They should have won.
Yeah.
They forgot to set their defense, so they lose.
Right.
We're not going to have situations where people forget to change their mods around. We're not going to even have situations where a lot of people didn't even sign up because they missed the sign up period because they moved it back an hour.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this. Now, granted, I get that that's like, very self-centered, but I do expect for the audience out there that has a higher GP that there should be more content coming. Like, we got the Kenobi show, we got all these Inquisitors. There's enough stuff in there for you guys. And I get that they're not telling us. But we just got a new Mace rework, which I'm sure Red Bab loves. We're still playing around with how that all works, right? We don't exactly know how that's going to turn out.
Right.
And then we got the scavenger update. And while the details were kind of sparse on that, kind of means that for people that didn't save Ugnut at, whatever gear for those, those specific gear tiers,
Right.
we don't have to save those characters anymore.
Right. Right.
So
it sounds like kind of what I'm hearing from you, Plague, is in summary is you're feeling pretty satisfied with where it's at, and there's probably more coming, and so you're not really stressed about it.
No, I think that, the content is probably a little lacking, but they told us, hey, we got a few more Inquisitors coming, including the Grand Inquisitor. The Kenobi show is going to drop in, 2 months?
Yep, May 25th.
Yeah.
Almost exactly 2 months from now.
So for the new players out there, I've probably said this to my guild, there's really no need for new players to go after new content unless it's a character that has stat sharing, like Chupio.
So I love the take on the newer players in the game. I think that's something, it's easy as an end the game player, something that can be a blind spot in my content as I forget to consider what it's like for people who started in December 2020. And so thanks for representing that portion of our player base today, Plague, and I think it's great to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right. So Plague, thank you very much. Now next up we have got the one and only Ryan. Ryan, where are you calling from, and what do you think about the road ahead?
I'm calling from New York, and I'm looking forward to the road ahead quite a bit.
Awesome.
The Grand Inquisitor is going to be one of my favorite highlights. I'm in a competitive TW guild, so I'm going to be hoarding a lot of Omicron just for that team in particular.
Nice. So you're one of the people where when you see a Territory Wars Omicron, you're not disappointed in the lack of GAC focus.
I'm disappointed that I don't have as many GAC Omicrons as of right now, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on.
I've been trying to get the double drops on them, and I haven't been able to get any so far.
Oh man, yeah. I'll tell you what. The drops of Omicrons are not easy to come by.
No, they're not.
Okay, cool. So are you a big Rebels fan? Is that kind of why the Grand Inquisitor is super appealing to you? Or tell me a little bit about why you're so excited about that in particular? Or is it just the TW functionality?
It's just the TW functionality. It's going to be more things at my disposal to use. And one thing I wanted to talk about briefly about the road ahead was I would like Doja to elaborate on the wording in regards to the JC lock-ins.
Oh my gosh,
It seemed like
yeah.
he kind of contradicted the wording in the road ahead. He says you can lock in, relock, but then at the end he says you lock in at the end of the phase. I need clarification as to which it is.
I'm really glad you highlighted that because we were talking about that earlier on my stream, and I'm glad we'll have this in the video because you're absolutely right. We see a contradiction both in the video and in the post too. And so I think we need to have a little clearer communication on exactly how that lock is going to work. It almost seemed to me like he implied that the lock would just happen at the end of the join phase. And so you wouldn't need to worry about it all, which I think is probably the best way to do that, because then nobody needs to even think about it. It's just at that point it will lock, and it's right at the last. So any last second changes you have in there will be applied to the GAC. But then there were other there was wording in what he said, and especially in the text wrote ahead, that seemed to indicate that that was not the case. And so your confusion there is well founded, and I think it's definitely something CG needs to address.
One of the points I wanted to bring up about that in particular was that people that are like in the Australian time zones are typically going to be sleeping. So if you're playing TW in Australia and you lock in, it's just going to lock you into GAC with your TW mods if that's the case.
Oh yeah.
So like Heinze, for example, if he's doing VG for Territory War, he's going to go into GAC with his TW mods unless he wakes up extremely early in the morning to switch it like right before.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, and that needs to be addressed. And
All right.
It'll probably put a stopper to people that are trying to strip mods to cheese the system, so people get confused on their opponents as well.
And that I like that. Although there is a part of me that when I see people do that, I'm just like, you know what? If you care that much, more power to you. I'm not stripping my mods to confuse anybody. That's too much work.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Hey, Ryan, it was really nice to have you on the show today. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you. No problem.
All right, Ryan from New York. All right, next up, so we got Home Slice, Stark, and Tano. Home Slice came in late, so I'm going to bring Stark in first. He's been waiting in line. Stark, you are calling from Washington, right? And you're on mute, buddy. Come off mute.
I'm here. Can you hear me
is.
now?
I was almost ready to kick you out. You got here just in time.
Don't kick me out, man. Go Hawks. I'm from Seattle, brother.
How you feel about Russell Wilson?
Dude, I'm still struggling over here.
It's very sad.
I'm a little sad. I mean, it's maybe a good move for Russ, right? He wants to light up the offense. Maybe Denver's got some younger receivers. I'm not sure if he and Pete, maybe the press last year was more accurate than some of us wanted to believe. I'm also pretty shocked. Well, not really shocked, but I'm also pretty sad about Bobby. I mean, Wagner, dude. Come on.
They did Wagner dirty, too.
Dirty, right?
Yeah.
I disagree strongly with the way that was handled. And also, but anyway, I think now we, who knows? I mean, I really like one of the opinion pieces here in the local paper, which was like, okay, this could make sense, but Pete and John, you better be right. Like,
yeah. So what do you think Russell Wilson thinks about the road ahead?
Oh man, what does Russ think about the road ahead? I think likely as a shorter guy, he's happy that Omicrons are now visible in the UI. So he doesn't have to look over the center to try to spot them on characters and look everything. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know how long Russ has been playing the game. We don't talk about that usually when he comes over and we hang out, which is never.
Okay. Speaking terms. What does Stark think about it? Tell me your takeaways.
So here's my take, man. I first and foremost, I heard one of the earlier callers. I've been playing this game kind of since it first came out, right? So maybe like you mentioned, I likely don't have as much of an understanding around the recent player. Like if you just started playing a couple months ago, it's hard for me to articulate that perspective because it's not really my perspective, but
it's fair.
As kind of a long-term Star Wars fan and longtime player of this game, I'm torn. I think my answer is this is great. I also feel kind of like this is table stakes. Like, how is it that we're so excited that now I can leave and rejoin and take benefits of the $50 I just dropped to get, a character to relics? Like some of it just seems like it's so basic. Like, why should we be super excited that we finally can see the icon for this very hard to acquire new Omicron ability? But whatever. I mean, it's good, right? I love it all. I'm a little conflicted though of like, wow. I mean, this is it. Like, I like the Grand Inquisitor. Obviously, I like new factions.
We assume the Grand Inquisitor is coming.
Yeah, right.
So it's like the biggest things in the road ahead, the most sexy appeal of the road ahead is stuff that we should have had all along. It's kind of so it's like, why should I be that excited about this? Because we should have had this the whole time, and so there's nothing really that sexy.
That's right.
I can see what you're saying.
I mean, it's not near as sexy as Leia's mom, as an example. right? Just to throw a name out there. Like
Now you're
I
talking.
mean, it's great, right? Mace
Yeah.
is awesome. We finally have a functional Mace Windu that remotely approximates like the character that we know from the Star Wars universe. So that's awesome. Obviously I love the fact that we now can see visually where the Omicrons are or are not on Rose Tico. That's awesome. Being able to, edit your defense or set a defense and not have to reset it manually every time is also great. The subtle hint that 3v3 is not going away is awesome. So generally, I think there's nothing to dislike in this post. I think as a like lifelong swugga or die player, I feel like what else?
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the new game modes, plural? Where's the, like,
That's what they
could
said.
we have a different format for GAC instead of these four things that are always there? I mean,
And
I
when
just
when
feel
they
like
teased that they were making changes to GAC in the State of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm really glad about the quality of life changes, but I kind of assumed it was more than just quality of life stuff. I thought there would be
Exactly.
something with the competitive
exactly
aspect
right.
of the
And
game.
where's the State of the Galaxy update? How do I
Yeah.
get the right side of all my yellow characters to relics? Right, like. Now the left side is like I could kind of get those or buy those, but like the right hand side is still like an infinite grind to try to get that right side. Like, all of my roster is like, oh, I get 3 on the left and
It's
nothing
not a
on the
grind if you spend $300.
right. Yeah, well, there's that.
You can make
actually,
that gear just appear like that. Come on, just boom,
Hey,
there
yeah.
it is.
Well, yeah. Oh, you must have seen me. You must have seen my approach to Star Killer, I guess. Yeah. That's basically that's the only way to do it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And maybe likely that's by design, which I don't mind spending money here and there. But for me, it's more of like I consistently feel like that this game has so much potential, and so many of us have put so much time, effort, and energy into farming, gearing, not to mention the grind for mods and that whole
Right.
game. And it's like, I have this huge box of super cool toys, and I'm forced to complete 50 occurrences of killing every something in Sector 2 with bounty hunters in Conquest. That's all I get to do with these things that I'm unlocking. And I just feel like, where's the new cool thing? Like, could we get a new territory battle map? Like, how hard is it to put some trees on the current Hoth map and call it indoor? Like, I just feel like there's so many things they could do that would let us have new experiences and new things to do in the game. And that's what I'm really hungry for.
All right. Okay. Well, Stark, thanks for sharing your perspective, man. That's really valuable.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cubs. And
Okay.
thanks for all you do, man. Really appreciate your voice and pulling people in. I think it's a service to the community. I really appreciate it.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, I enjoy doing it. So thanks so much. I appreciate that.
You got it.
All right. We got Tano and then Home Slice to bring us in home. Tano, let's see if I can take you off mute here. Calling from Norway. It's Tano. How you doing? You're on mute. Oh, Tano just jumped right out. Let's see if we can try that again. Are we working? There we go. Tano, what's up?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
It's so good to hear from you again.
Good to be here, man.
How do you feel about the road ahead, Tano?
It's kind of meh.
Meh? Okay.
Yeah,
give me more.
Like the quality of life updates. I always love it when they prioritize that. But it's some of the stuff we should have gotten already, I feel.
Yeah, kind of what Stark was just saying, huh?
Oh, I'm just repeating him then. Yeah, like the Omicron, we should have gotten that when it rolled out,
It is kind of surprising to me that wasn't there when it first rolled out, and how many times, like I did a Grand Arena battle earlier today. I was going up against a raid team, and mid-battle I realized I didn't even check to see if that was a Rose Tico Omicron. And it's just like, stuff like that should jump out at you, but you have to remember which characters have Omicrons to go in there. And so I'm glad they're putting it there, but it's kind of surprising that it wasn't there to begin with.
I put Aiden on before I had the Omicron, and I tricked up a couple of my opponents to using like heavier teams than they should have.
Yeah.
because they thought it was an Omicron and it wasn't. So yeah, that's not good. You don't want that kind of mechanic.
I mean, it's good to, you know, use whatever tools are at your disposal, but that's not necessarily the way that I think the competitive balance of the game should be, is just making people forget about which characters have what abilities.
And I feel like I'm really, really nervous about this new lock-in. The
Okay.
mechanic.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just like bad communication from CG that is so unclear. Is it end
Yeah.
of the sign-up period, or is it when you click that button? But also, I'm really worried about the bugs. You know, can they do this without it sort of not going wrong?
You've been playing this game for a while. I can tell you've been conditioned. You're ready for the bugs to hit.
Yeah, I'm like I have PTSD or something. I'm like scared when they do changes to
man.
GAC. I'm like, oh, what's happening with this? You know.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a little bit. You know, I really like the Inquisitors,
Okay.
but the characters so far has been kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Have you wailed on them?
Underwhelming. A little bit, but
Yeah.
not like not to 7 stars.
Okay.
So I'm ready to like pounce when there is a whole team. I can sort of see the mechanics of it, but
Yeah. It looks like the Grand Inquisitor is probably going to bring them all together, and you're gonna have options because it's going to be 5 total Inquisitors plus the Grand Inquisitor, right?
yeah.
And so what's the
6.
actual team going to end up being?
Yeah, and all these leader abilities, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird, isn't it?
It is a little bit weird. You got to think that the Grand Inquisitor is going to be the real leader ability. It's kind of like bounty hunters, only there's not as much of a reason for all of them to have leader abilities, especially if, I mean, my assumption right now, I could be wrong, but my assumption is going to be that the Grand Inquisitor is going to come and that's just going to be the ability that you use.
Yeah, a guy in my guild said, what if one of the later Inquisitors have this ability that sort of activates all the others' leaders' abilities?
Ooh.
And that could be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that would be sexy.
But like, unless that happens, I'm not sort of impressed by the kits yet. I don't really. The
Yeah.
purge, it's like meh.
Well, I think that's fair, and I mean, it sounds like you're just kind of in wait and see mode because you just really don't see everything that's come yet.
Yeah, and also like that's my sort of overall feeling. I like that they did some changes, but it's not like it hasn't blown me away. I wanted more. I think they should have been able to deliver more at this point.
Okay.
And they have sort of teased some things coming, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And when are we getting the next GL? And
Yeah.
where are those ship god loadouts? You know,
Right.
there are a couple of things that maybe we're waiting more for.
I don't know. Yeah, I think those are valid concerns. Ship loadouts, that's something I mentioned in my video when they started talking about ships. I thought, all right, here it is, ship loadouts, and then nothing. And so I think that's one of those, but it kind of circles back to what you said and what Stark said is these are things that we should have had all along. And so getting super excited about ship loadouts, yeah, that's great, but it's also one of those things that's like, we should have had this 3 years ago. Ship loadouts.
And I think that's kind of their problem. Like it's great that they're listening to the stuff that we say, but sometimes it would be great if they could be a little bit more clear and not say like maybe later. You could say it's no, we're not working on ship loadouts at the moment.
Right.
I'm sorry, but we can't prioritize that. And everybody would be okay, we'll stop asking for it then. Because now when they're so vague, it sort of keeps us guessing and keeps us wanting. So
I really like that. And that could have, I think, helped with this road ahead for some people's expectations if it was we mentioned the State of the Galaxy last time. We're going to do it. We're working on it. It's just not ready yet, so it's not going to be in this road ahead, so you guys know. Or maybe that's been shelved for a little bit. And maybe it has been, and they just don't want to tell us that because they know that'll piss us off. So they're just... But instead, they just leave us in the dark.
We have to work on this other thing. Like, you can say that. Like, we love this idea.
We're prioritizing these new game modes.
And because we think this will be better for the like life of the game. And we would be
I love
okay.
that.
We might not agree, but at least you're telling us. You know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of players would sort of like that better.
I would really like that as well. Tano,
Yeah.
that's great insight. I've always appreciated your perspective in this community, so thanks for coming on today.
No problem. Have a good
All right.
one.
All right, stay warm.
I'll try.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, Tano's awesome. All right, bringing us home, our last caller of the day is the one and only Home Slice. Home Slice, tell us where you're calling from and what do you think about the road ahead? And you are on mute. You'll need to come off mute. Or did we already have... Oh, there he goes. You're off mute now. But I can't hear you. Having some technical issues here with Home Slice. Nothing? You there, Home Slice? All right. Well, that might mean that we're unable to take our last call here, and we already did it. All right. Well, Home Slice, sorry that didn't work, man. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's chat with the community, voice of the community in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. If you ever want to contribute to these chats, we're going to do this. I'm not going to do it weekly, I don't think, but I am going to, anytime something happens, big reworks, big releases, road aheads, that kind of thing, we'll jump on, let you guys come share your takes. I'd really love this channel to be a place, not just for my opinions, but yours as well. So if you want to continue seeing those perspectives, let me know. Fill up the comment section below. Drop a like on your way out. And as always, my brothers, don't forget,